Hi YouTube, Engineer Boy 100 again. We got another problem today. We have vibration of the engine on a 1999 Mercedes SLK 230. So I figured it's either the fuel injectors or the harmonic balancer. So today we're going to change the harmonic balancer, and this is it. Now the way the harmonic balancer it works, briefly, there's probably other videos that will cover it better. Just briefly is there's a little rubber insert in between these metal parts that is a bushing that dampens the vibration of the combustion forces on the crankshaft, and it makes your engine run more smoothly. That's the job of the harmonic balancer. And it also has the pulleys on it here for the serpentine belt that come from the crank. So to do that, we're going to get 2 for 1 today. We're going to take off the radiator cooling fan, and then we're going to take off and remove and replace the harmonic balancer. So let's go over the car and look at the progression. Alright guys, I forgot to explain some things. First of all, I wanted to cover this little wrench here. This is a 10 millimeter and 9 millimeter closed box end wrench, and it's by Mac. So here you get it from Mac Tools. These little wrenches are expensive. I got this one cheap on eBay for 30 bucks. So I grabbed 2 of them, and I can't find them anymore. But these are the wrenches you use to relieve the tension on the serpentine belt tensioner pulleys. Okay, you'll need something like this to do the job correctly. The one that you use is the 8 millimeter. It's the 8 millimeter side, a 10 millimeter side. So any 8 millimeter will work, but you really want to get something like this, nice and long. This is about 9 inches long. 10 would be even better to loosen those tensioners to take the belts off. So the other piece I want to cover is how to actually take the harmonic balancer off. Now, a lot of people use breaker bars and the pulley holders, and oh my god, time out. Me, I use these little high torque impact wrenches. This particular one is 400 foot-pounds. You can see right here on the back, if you can read that, 400 foot-pounds. This one will probably do the job. If not, I got one from Eastwood. You can see Eastwood here. This one is 600 foot-pounds rated. This will take off that 300 foot-pound bolt off of that harmonic balancer. This is by Clutch. High quality. This is very high quality Clutch. Okay, I wanted you guys to see those. This is an alternative to using a breaker bar. You do have to have an air compressor to operate these. I do have a cordless one that has just about equal power to these, but it's very large. You know, I don't think it'll fit in the working space. So that's the other key part. You don't want to get any impact wrench. You want to get something. Look at the size of this in comparison to my hand. How deep it is. You don't have a lot of working space in the front of that engine, so you need something compact like this that can fit in there and still have the power to take off that main bolt. And once you get it off, you're going to need some blue thread lock, Loctite, to put it back on. Some vehicles require a replacement bolt. You can't reuse the bolt. This particular vehicle, you can reuse the bolt, so we will be reusing the bolt. And that's it. I don't want to belabor this. I just wanted to cover those key points. So let's go to the car for real this time. Alright guys, we're over at the car, and once again, this is a 1999 Mercedes SLK 230. We're changing the harmonic balancer today, and let me show you exactly what we have to do step by step. So the first thing you have to do, if we come over here, is we have to take off this the overflow for the radiator here. You take this off, and there's a hose that goes all the way down that connects to the bottom of it. I'll show you that from the other side. That you just take that off, and this little top hose here, and you just lay this whole part over on the side of the engine. You don't take it completely off. Okay, then to take off the fan here, there's 2 clips. One here, you just slide it up, and one over here on the other side. Right here. Have the other clip. You're going to slide those clips up after you take off this reservoir, and then you should be able to remove the fan. Now there's an electrical connector, of course, because it's an electric fan. Don't forget to take that loose, and then remove your fan. Now I'm going to go to the other side and show you where that hose is on the back of this reservoir from a different angle. Alright, so it's a little dark, but I got a light here. I'm going to go down and show you where that hose is on the bottom of the reservoir, so you can see what you need to be looping. So it's right down here. Here's my pointer. This is where it connects to the bottom of the reservoir here. You can see that. And this thing goes all the way down along the bottom of the fan. Okay, and there's little clips that hold it. Just take those loose. You just pull the hose out to take it loose. And then you can lay that reservoir off over on the side of the engine. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is take off this little reservoir. Another thing I want to point out is, before you take the serpentine belts off, draw up a little map of how the belts go, or either have it looked up online so you know where to get it, or look in the manual before you take them loose, because sometimes it's a little tricky getting them back on and figuring out the pattern in order. And if you want, you can just freeze up, pause your video, and you can use mine if you trust me. So here you go. So now we're going to take this off. This is little 10mm bolts, 2 of them. So we'll get these off. And so you guys can see what's going on here. And 1 and 2. And then we'll snake that hose on the bottom of this over to the right side of the engine. Take off the overflow hose clamp. Drop your screwdriver. And this little hose looks like this is just about ready to be replaced anyway. So this should lift off now. Let's see if we have that hose down there. And there's a little arm that sticks in. So you have to pull that arm out. I'll show you when it comes up a little bit higher. Arm over here. Oh, so you also have to take this loose on the other side. So that's what's pulling. Oh no, you don't. Let's see what we got. There's some resistance somewhere. I don't know where. Oh. There's a sensor on the bottom. There's a connector on the bottom of this that lets you know when your coolant level is low. So you got to take that loose. And I'll show you what that connector looks like once I get it loose. So, okay, so this is the connector that comes off of the reservoir. I actually broke one of my little connectors off of here, as you can see. This was a pain in the I don't even want to say it on the film. You can see this, when you depress this, it does not release the clip. So you actually have to do these independently. So as I was doing this one on the other side here, I broke it off. It's very difficult. I'm just going to say that. It's very difficult. Alright, so the second clip, the one on the fan, the electrical connector, I mean not the clip. Here, this one's a little bit tricky too, but you just have a little tab down here that you have to pull back. Tab is right, it is so dark. The tab is right there, okay? So you have to do that, and this is what it looks like on the actual reservoir, so you can see what you're trying to pull it out. Just pull straight off. So this is what it looks like here. Okay, you pull straight off those 2 electrical connections, and on either side the little connector is grabbing on to this little barb right here. There's a barb right there. Okay, and that's what you're trying to get the end of that hook up over. Alright, so now we can take out the fan. It's going to have 4 clips. One here, one here, one here, and one here. And I'll show you how those come loose right now. Alright, so I'm going to start by taking off the right passenger side clips of the cooling fan. And you just lift up here, lift up on these, and this one comes right off. Here's your clip. Don't lose it. And then this one you push in on this tab and lift at the same time. You have to lift it. It has a rubber grommet under it. You want to lift. You just kind of pry with your screwdriver a little bit gently while holding the tab in at the same time, and that will come off and release. Once you get it up a little bit, you can just grab it like so. There it is, and don't lose your rubber grommet that goes over on your fan here. Now we'll do the other side. Okay, so now we'll do the left side, the driver's side, because we're in the U.S. Left side, driver's side. We'll just same thing, pull this clip up, and you can see how that comes right off. And then the same thing here, depress this little tab here, and lift, pry with your screwdriver at the same time to get it started. And then you can get that one to come off. It's a little tricky, you don't want to break it, so be careful. And I'm going to try to lift the back side. Just kind of wiggle it around a little bit, just like so. Wiggle and push, and wiggle and push. And there you have the clip undamaged and the rubber grommet. Now the radiator should lift out. Alright, so let's see if we can lift this out. Just move it back a bit like so, get some space, and then wiggle it around. Now I have some little zip ties holding the coolant lines, so let me cut those and then we'll try again. Alright, so let's try it again. Ah, look at that. Just slides right out, and there's your fan. Alright, so now I'm going to show you what's going on down at the bottom of the fan. There's two little plugs, one here and one here, and these go into two grommets down in the base of the frame in the front there. So I'm going to go down in there with a light and show you where these go. You want to make sure that these go back into those rubber grommets when you replace the fan. Alright, so we're looking at the back side here, and these are those two little grommets I was telling you about that you have to make sure that fan goes down into. There's one on each side, one there. There's one over here. Get a good close-up for you. And that is what they look like. Okay? Make sure those end pieces get snugged back in there. And what I'll do sometimes is I'll put just a little bit of Dawn around there so it slips in more easily, and then the Dawn goes away and it's tight. Just a tip. Alright, we finally got down to the harmonic balancer. Let's take a peek inside of it, and you can see actually what the bolt looks like. Got a little light down here, so let's go nice and slow. Here you go. That's where we're headed. So that bolt right there is 27 millimeters. So we'll be using a 27 millimeter socket on it with the impact wrench. So that's what you'll be seeing us take a loose next. Up we go. Okay, so we're going to use the clutch impact. This one has 400 foot-pounds. We'll see if this does the trick. Down we go. Get that on. And this is what I do instead of using those breaker bars and the little holder tool. The other thing too is when you do this, you want to leave the belts on because they help hold a little bit additional help holding. So let's see if this can get it off. And there you go. That's why I use the clutch. Alright, now it's time to take off the serpentine belts and remove the harmonic balancer. And this, we're going to use this little box in 8mm Mac tool that I showed you earlier. We'll do this one first. You have to give it a good little, see which way is it? A good little pull. and it relieves the tension like so. Then you can just take the belts off. It works great. This tool's excellent for this. And there's another one here in the front. I think this one goes the other way. So let's see, which way does this the tensioner go on this? Oh no, it goes this way. So we'll have to pull up. I think, yeah, pull up this way and then release this one. And there we go. I think, oh no, that's the wrong one. And pull up and release this one. Once the tension is off, and there we go. And now that the belts are off, we can remove the harmonic balancer if it's not stuck. Sometimes they're stuck and you have to use a puller, so we'll see. There's a key in there because there's a keyway. You want to make sure you don't lose that key. So let's see what happens here. Usually it's a little bit loose, and it will. You can just kind of take them out. Let me see. Just a little bit. Let me pry on it a little tiny bit. So we get a screwdriver. You don't want to pry real hard. You want to pry on different sides so that if it's kinked, it'll let go and you can just pull it off. If not, you may need a puller. If it's really stuck, we may have to use a puller to get that off. And we have pullers. So hopefully we can just jiggle it a little bit and it'll come off. I've seen these come off before in other videos without a puller. So hopefully if I just wiggle it a little bit, I'll be able to loosen it up. And I feel a little bit of movement, so usually when you feel any movement at all, it means it's gonna come off, but it's not coming. So we'll keep fiddling with this and we'll show you when it's off. Just tap, 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 and there you go. Look at this. Old harmonic balancer. Okay, looks like we're going to get 3 for 1 instead of 2 for 1. After getting the harmonic balancer off, I noticed oil all over the front of the engine. Got an oil leak, the main engine seal, crank seal. So we're going to take that seal out. Got a new one here. Let me just see that. I'll give you the part number on that too. It'll probably be helpful. The part number right there. Part number. And this is what the seal looks like. This is the seal that you're going to be, the new seal you're going to be replacing the old one with. And I'm going to go ahead and take that one out, or at least try. Just kind of pry it, see if I can pry that out there, because I've been chasing this oil leak for a while. And when I took that harmonic balancer off, I saw oil all over and dirt. Like, there's my oil leak. Let's do that gently. And then when you put this back in, you want to go ahead and use a mallet. You don't want to use a hammer. I use a mallet. Some people use some kind of a large socket, but I'm just going to gently tap around. And you want to put lubrication around there so that it slides in nice and easy and you don't cut it. And check for my key. Key is on the bottom. It's still in. Good. Now I'll just lubricate that and put the new seal in. And then we can put the new harmonic balancer in. Get a little bit of oil. This is old school. But I'm going to get a little tiny bit of oil off of this dipstick. That's good clean oil. And put it on the new seal. All around here, because I don't want to cut it or anything when the harmonic balancer goes in through the center either. And it should get started. It's tapered, so it'll get started nice and easy. You want to try and get it square. See, and it goes in nicely like that. And then I use a mallet to gently tap all around the edges. Give me a little rubber mallet here. And gently tap on one side and then the other as it goes in. All around. And keeps it from binding. You don't want to tap one side in all the way and then not another. And get in. And then you can, if you want, put a nice socket on there. I think I'm gonna get a socket. All right, so the socket I have, this is a 1 13/16. 1 13/16. And this, it fits pretty good. Close to the edge. You know, all around the edge of the, so this is the old seal. And it fits like so. Not everybody has one of these, I get that. But I got one, so I'm gonna use it. Along with the baby sledge here. A short handle baby sledge. Put that on there. And give it a gentle tap until the seal goes all the way in. Whoa, my glasses falling off. And that's looking pretty good. I mean, this really does not take much tapping at all. I mean, at all. It's almost completely in. I'm barely tapping it, just barely tapping it. That's in there pretty good. You know, one side's a little bit cocked. Get this. You're not hitting hard at all. And that's pretty good. All right, so now we can get the replacement harmonic balancer, line it up with the key. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a different angle here so you can actually see me put this thing in. Here's the harmonic balancer replacement. And I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on the outside of, pull this out of here, the outside of this harmonic balancer to add lubrication as it slides through that, the seal. So here we go, down we go. I know the keyway's on the bottom, so it just goes in like that, and you move it around a little bit, and until it lines up with that key, and then it'll just slide in. So you gotta wiggle it, and it will eventually just go kind of clunk. And once you get that on, put your bolt on, you can put your serpentine belts back on. And get that on there. I think it's tight on the seal. But it'll go. It just takes patience. And just wiggle it like so. Once you get it started, you might have to tap it a little bit, but hopefully you don't have to do that. I'll just keep on working that, and we'll let you know when that's on. Okay, so now I'm going to try to give you a side shot, and I got it on pretty good by hand. It's like 1/4 of an inch in. So now what I do is I go ahead and take, turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. Here we go. I take the bolt, okay, and I put it in, and I do it by hand. Okay, I use a ratchet here, and I just put it in here. And you can look at the space. I don't know if you can see. You know, it's probably not the light. Light on that gap. There's a gap right here by the timing mark. You can watch this go in as you tighten it. And once it bottoms out, I take the bolt back out and I put blue Loctite on it. So you go like so. And you just let it bottom out. Now you know it's all the way in. Like so. Get that all the way in there. Yeah. So now stop and it's turning a little bit. So then I reverse it. Take the bolt back out because I'm going to put blue Loctite on it and tighten it with that impact hammer because that will give me really good torque. Okay, there we go. Take this back out. So now this is very close, and that's the way it was when we took off the original harmonic balancer. That's how close it was to that timing mark indicator. So then we'll take this out like so. And we will put blue. Now if you put red Loctite on there, you're gonna have problems getting that off later. Don't put red, put blue. Okay, and this here Loctite is gonna make it, it's almost gone. Just a little bit in there. Yeah, doesn't take much though. That's plenty. That's all you need. It'll spread itself, and that's plenty. So I'll put that back on, and then I'll get my impact and tighten it down, and then we can do the serpentine belts. Get that all the way down, like so. Do the serpentine belts. Put the fan and this connector back on, and connector to the overflow tank back on, and go for a drive. Okay, I'd like to give you a little bit more of a side view so you guys can see the impact. Got it on 3/4 of its torque tightening power. I don't need 400, I need about 300. So, and that is tight, trust me. Okay, now we can do the serpentine belts. Okay, a bit of movie magic. Serpentine belts are on. Now obviously you're going to want to put the rear one on first. Just a tip, obvious, but yeah. A little reminder. And well, there they go. 2 serpentine belts. And there was one other little tip I was trying to remind everyone of. Oh yeah, the mass airflow meter here. Right here, these little clips that hold that on. You're going to want to take that off first when you are going to try and take this clip off of the reservoir overflow for the radiator reservoir. Oh man, it's going to give you a lot more working room. So I just took it off and put it up here on top like that. Just take this end of the hose clamp loose, and then just the 2 clips on the mass airflow meter itself. And then you'll have a lot more working room with that thing. The pain, I ended up actually breaking one of mine off on accident. One of my clips. I accidentally broke it off. But the things are so tight, it's going to be just fine with one. I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put the fan back in. Then put the reservoir back in. When we put the fan back in, of course, we'll do the electrical connector for that. Just push that back in. And then we'll put the reservoir back in, which is over here. Back out a little bit. Reservoir, put that back in, put that connector back in, put the mass airflow meter back in, top off the coolant, and I'm going to replace this hose. It's a little old looking, so I'll just replace that hose, and we should be good to go and test it out. And then next weekend, I think I'm going to change the fuel injectors in this thing. So stay tuned. Alright, I got the radiator cooling fan here. I'm going to put a little bit of Dawn on the little studs that go into the bottom, the little bottom grommets. That'll help them slide in easier, and then the Dawn just dries up and goes away. So down we go. I showed you those earlier. You can kind of see them as you're going, and I'm going to line those up, make sure they get in. And if they're in correctly, everything up on top side here will line up correct. There we go. So now, see if you can see that from this angle. My clips and everything are lined up nicely. And then we have those 4 clips that go on top. So don't forget the little rubber grommet. That goes with those second clips. See, how do I get this in the, looking all weird. There we go. These little rubber pieces, they go right on here. Or where do they go? Here, yeah. And then you just pretty much just push these on. These go in here, and then this goes in the hole. So, get that in. And then these little metal clips, they just go in like so. Hold everything together. And that's not always down. There we go. And now we'll do the other side. Let me back this up. Yeah. Matter of fact, let me go to the other side. I'll be completely in the way. Otherwise, that's better. Sorry about the movement, but you'll be able to see what's going on. And then same deal. On this one, I got the little rubber grommet. It's already installed. You know what? I'm gonna put this on separately. That lines up with the hole, and you just put your grommet in here. Wiggle it around, goes in, and then your regular clip, little metal clip, like so. Then I'm going to show you the electrical connector on. Okay, so here's the back side of the fan. Here's the male end of the connector, electrical connector, and you just pretty much just push it in. Just clicks. There we go. And that's in. That should do it. And now we can move that reservoir back into position and put its electrical connector back on. Okay, let's get this. We got that new hose on there, so that's nice. Stick that around the bottom, and put this back into location. See, there's a hole and a little stud here that this goes into. And I save these. Let me give you a better shot here. Gonna move you again, sorry. Move you about like so. Should do it. Give you a little bit better view, I hope. Alright, so I have these screws, mount screws. I put them here so I wouldn't lose them. And then you have this little, you want to put this little nipple in here, little dowel first. There's a hole back there that it goes into the grommet. So you put that in first. So you're going to move around and stick it in. And then these will line up perfectly. And then you can do your mounts. These 2 little mount bolts. 10 millimeter. These are both 10 millimeter. And then do your electrical connector. And hook up your other end of your new overflow hose, and we're good. And then we can focus on the mass airflow meter, and then top this off, and we're just about done. That should do it. All right, we topped off the coolant, got the mass airflow meter back hooked up, and the electrical connector on the overflow. Let's see if it starts. There you have it. That's how you change harmonic balancer, main front oil crank seal, and remove and replace the radiator fan on a 99 Mercedes SLK 230. This is your boy 100, signing out.